Hi there, it's Morgan from the CheekyHomemaker.com, where we cook, clean, stay on budget, and journey through motherhood together. Today I'm going to show you how I made this really simple barrette holder for my daughter's hair bows. It has plenty of space to clip on any clips, and it has hooks for hanging any little actual ties as well as headbands. So I would say the most difficult part of this project is to put any wording on it you may want. Now, you don't have to have wording. You can put a picture. You can have it say bows and baubles instead of your child's name. I'm making one for each of my girls. So as you can see, this is Addison's and it's already done. I'm going to show you how I make Charlotte's today. We're going to do exactly the same. So I got this piece of wood that I made these on from Hobby Lobby. It's just a piece of wood that's already pre-cut. It comes completely bare, unpainted, and I painted it with some latex paint from probably Home Depot, might have been Lowe's. Now, you can buy paint at the craft store very easily while you're there picking up the wood. I found that if you get the little sample sizes of the paint from the home improvement store, it's a lot less expensive and you get a lot more bang for your buck. So that's what I have here at my house. I also happen to have a Cricut cutting machine. So I made a vinyl stencil for the name here, and I used a sponge brush. I used a sponge brush actually to paint the 2 coats of white paint on here. Then I laid my vinyl stencil on, and I used a different foam brush to dab the paint onto the stencil and then peel it off. It's quite intensive to get into a tutorial of how to use a Cricut cutting machine. If you happen to have one, you probably know the basics already. But I'm going to link some videos below so that if you're interested, you can watch them. There will be one for how to actually cut something out to make a vinyl stencil, another one for transferring it using transfer tape onto whatever it is you want to paint. And then if you don't have a cutting machine, you can certainly freehand this, but I will also be linking a tutorial that shows you how to paint a wood sign without having a stencil. And it's actually a pretty ingenious way to do it. So check that link out below. So the first thing that I want to do here is actually get my ribbon on the back. So I am all for keeping things simple when possible. I already pre-cut my ribbon here, and I decided to go 18 inches with mine. So I used grosgrain ribbon. The reason I like grosgrain is because the little edges here, they start to fray on pretty much most ribbons you cut, but with grosgrain, you can just run a lighter over it and they just kind of melt down and they seal themselves. So of course, you don't want to keep it on there nearly long enough to even singe it and leave a black mark, let alone actually light it on fire. So use your own discretion and be careful. But this is a really easy way to keep the ribbon from fraying over time, especially if your scissors, my daughter was sleeping in the room that had my really good scissors when I pre-cut these for you. So it leaves a little something to be desired in the neatness. The next thing you want to do is make sure that when you put your ribbons on here and attach them, they all hang to the same length. So we took the time to cut them all to the same length. Now we want to make sure that when we line them up, they are the same length without having to retrim them. So the easiest way to do that is to mark a guide on the back of your sign. So you're going to want to find the back bottom part of your sign. And you can certainly use a ruler and get really technical with this and do a great job. Personally, I prefer to leave well enough alone when possible. So I'm just going to line my handy dandy meal planner book up here and do a quick measurement with my tape measure. And I'll just put it at 1 inch so we don't lose too much. You want enough to make sure it has a good hold on there, but we're going to just go for 1 inch. And I'm going to grab a pen and make a light line across the back. You're never going to see that. I'm going to be attaching these with staples. I thought about using hot glue, and then I thought about the fact that these are going to be getting pulled on a lot, and sometimes hot glue just pops off of wood after time. So I thought a stapler would be better. I have a nice swing line stapler, just a standard office stapler. There's a little lever on the bottom of mine. Actually took me a while to find because my last one, it was here on the back. So you just pull the little lever there and it will open up all the way for you. So next you want to lay your ribbons out however you want to put them on. I'm going to do 3 pinks and 2 patterned. So I know that these pinks I'm going to put as close to the outer edge as possible. So I'm going to start by just going ahead and stapling those on. I'm actually going to put a towel under my wood so I don't scratch my table here by jiggling it around. This craft wood is pretty soft, so it's pretty easy to get the staples in. For my end pieces, the wood was at an angle, so I had to put one staple at an angle and one straight across, but the rest of them I'm just going to do 2 staples above each other. So now I'm going to take a quick measurement for this centerpiece just because that's rather important. So we have 9.5 inches, so that's 4 3/4 inches is the center. I'll just line that up. Make sure your ribbons are hanging nice and straight before you attach them. Otherwise, they'll look a little funny when you lift it up. So once you have all of your ribbons attached, however many you want to have going across, the next step is to attach some brackets at the top so that you can hang it. I am using sawtooth brackets at the top. These sawtooth brackets keep whatever you mount it with from slipping side to side, and I'm going to do 2 of them, one on each side, because again, I know this will be something that gets touched and moved around. If it were just something that weren't going to be touched, I may put one in the center, but I'm going to do 1 on each side. The first thing I want to do is draw a guide for these also. Now the best way to get screws started when you're putting them into wood is to use something called an awl. This is designed to hit on the back with a hammer if needed to start a hole, but for soft wood like this, you really don't even need to do that. You can just push it in with your hand. If you don't have an awl, you could just use a nail, and you might want to use a hammer to tap it down. You're not putting it all the way in, you're just making a small hole with it. And you'll see when we put the screws in how much that helps. All right, now we have the back finished. We're going to flip it over and do our cup hooks. Now I will be linking all this hardware below. I ordered all of mine on Amazon. You can also get it at your local home improvement store. Most of these are very easy to find, but these are 7/8 inch cup hooks that I'm going to be using. These are nickel color. They also come in gold and white and probably some other colors too. I chose to do 4 of them across. So I'm just going to put them in the gaps of my ribbon. So I do want to keep these in a straight line, but I don't want to leave a mark on the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as my guide again, but this time instead of actually drawing a line, I'm just going to leave it sitting here and hold on to it while I make my holes with my awl. Now that we have all of the functional parts on, it's time to decorate it. I bought these flowers. They came in a 4-pack, so I thought that was perfect for 2 for each of my girls. So since I want them matching, it worked out pretty well for me. I will also link some of these. I wasn't able to find the exact one that I have online. I bought these a while back and actually already had them, but I did find something really similar. So I'm going to use my hot glue gun, but first I like to kind of situate them however I'd like them to be. You guys, I love this glue gun. It has no cord while you're using it. The cord is attached to the base here, and it's just my favorite thing ever. So this is an older one. I think I'll probably be able to find a link if I can for the newer version, but it's by Sure Bonder. So I'll link that below for you. And there you have it. Took no time at all. We have another barrette holder for my daughter Charlotte, and that way the girls can each have their cute little hair doodads contained. If you're new here, we should be friends, so don't forget to like my video and subscribe to my channel so we can keep in touch. You can also find me online at thecheekyhomemaker.com, as well as on Pinterest, Facebook, and Instagram at The Cheeky Homemaker. See you soon. Bye.